Okay, here's a situation for pet food brand managers. You're seeing sales absolutely skyrocket. I mean, really strong growth.
Yeah, the numbers are huge.
But then look at production volume, and it's, well, sluggish, almost flat. So how do you navigate that kind of disconnect? How do you actually win in that environment?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're unpacking the key trends, things like health, innovation, ingredients, basically what you need not just to navigate, but really to pull ahead.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pet Food Insider. We're your source for staying ahead in this fast-moving industry. I handle the data and trend side.
And I focus on the business implications, the strategies you can use. Our goal here is always to distill the essential insights you need for your planning.
Today, April 7th, 2025, our deep dive is called Beyond the Bowl: Health, Innovation, and Ingredients That Win. We've been looking at reports on Chewy's growth, sustainability perceptions, venture capital moves in pet food, and U.S. market analysis overall.
And the aim is to turn all that data into actionable intelligence. Stuff you can use for your 2025 strategies, whether you're in e-commerce, brand management, product development, or insights. So where should we start? Maybe the retail landscape? How people are finding and buying?
Absolutely. You can't ignore the online players, and Chewy's recent performance, well, it tells quite a story. They talked about hitting a customer growth inflection point.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently driven by bringing in new customers effectively, keeping more of the ones they have, and interestingly, reactivating old ones.
So multi-pronged approach to growth there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And tied to that, their net sales per active customer NSPAC that's climbed up to $567 annualized in Q3 24. Autoship is a big driver there, clearly.
Makes sense. Loyalty pays off.
It does. But they did caution about a, quote, mathematical headwind. Basically, lots of new customers coming in spend less at first.
Right. Compared to those established customers, the really loyal ones who might be spending, what, over $1,000 a year, like they mentioned?
Precisely. So that average gets pulled down temporarily.
Okay, so let's break that down. For you e-commerce managers, Chewy's success really hammers home that getting new customers is just step one. You've got to nurture them, increase that lifetime value. Autoship's success shows the power of tapping into regular buying habits, making it easy.
Yeah.
And that headwind. It's a reminder to track your customer acquisition cost very closely and figure out how quickly you can engage those new folks to spend more.
And building on that engagement idea, Chewy's physical vet clinics, while still few, seem to be a real game changer for getting new customers.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, they said over half the people visiting the clinics are actually new to Chewy entirely.
Wow.
And get this, over 50% of those visitors bought something on Chewy.com within just 30 days.
Okay, that's huge. So for brand managers, this is key. It's not just about selling food anymore.
Right.
Integrating services like healthcare here builds trust, loyalty.
Yeah.
It's a big differentiator. It's thinking about the whole pet owner need. And for e-commerce managers, that conversion rate, clinic visitor to online buyer, that screams opportunity. Maybe partnerships with local vets or other service providers. Could that be a path for you?
It certainly makes you think. And for insight managers, you've got a new group to analyze here. Who are these clinic-acquired customers?
Yeah, different demographics, different buying habits than the purely online ones.
Exactly. Those insights are gold for targeting. Though it's worth noting, Chewy mentioned they're keeping clinic expansion kind of limited next year. Logistics, headwinds, that sort of thing.
Good context. Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the consumers themselves. What are they thinking about health, about sustainability? What are the big preferences shaping the market?
It's definitely a mixed picture on sustainability. Research from the Pet Sustainability Coalition and Harvest Insights broke down premium buyers into three groups.
Okay.
You've got the engaged, about 21%. They're younger, urban, often into raw or alternative diets, spend more. Then the biggest chunk, 50%, are the unrealized.
Unreal.
You know, mostly female, maybe less aware of specific sustainability impacts. It matters to them, sure, but it's not the main driver. Price, health might come first.
Got it. And the third?
The disinterested. About 29%, older, more price-driven. Sustainability just isn't really on their radar for pet food. But here's the interesting thing. Broader data from Packaged Facts shows most pet owners want to be sustainable. Like 72% would buy eco-friendly if the price was the same. 57% prefer eco-conscious brands.
Okay, so there's general goodwill.
Big but. When you ask specifically about buying pet food, only 13% say brand values or sustainability actually influence that decision. There's a disconnect.
Right. That's the challenge for brand managers. People like the idea of sustainability, but it's not closing the deal for not yet anyway. So your message needs nuance. For the engaged, sure, lean into the green story. But for that big, unrealized group, keep it simple. Show the tangible benefit. Connect it clearly.
And maybe don't lead with it for the disinterested.
Probably not. Price, health benefits, those are likely your stronger levers there. You need to tailor it.
Makes sense. And when we ask what sustainability means to them in pet food,
Yeah.
recyclable or recycled packaging is number one. Huge number, 70%.
Okay, table stakes almost.
Pretty much. Then you get plant-based or alternative proteins. Around 50% mention those. Interestingly, there's more support for sustainable alternative proteins as a general concept than, say, just plant protein or just insect protein specifically.
So the idea is popular, but maybe some hesitation on the specifics?
Seems like it.
Okay, so for product managers, that's clear direction. Recyclable, recycled packaging, that's baseline now. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Alternative proteins, worth exploring, definitely. But you need to be super clear on the nutrition, address any worries people might have. And for the disinterested, maybe stealth sustainability, like we said, improve packaging for cost and environment, but maybe don't shout about the eco part if price is the main thing. And e-commerce managers, make those sustainable features easy to find. Filters, highlights, cater to that engaged group actively looking for it.
Okay, let's pivot to innovation. What's bubbling up? Tech Ventures highlighted a few key areas.
Yeah, and their focus really clicks with other things we're seeing. They're pointing at personalized care, organic ingredients, those alternative proteins again, and of course, sustainable packaging.
Personalization feels like it's really gaining steam. You see Basepaws, the DNA testing company, getting snapped up by Zoetis.
Big validation there.
Right. And Butternut Box, doing customized food delivery, they raised significant funding. Plus, consumers seem drawn to minimally processed organic stuff. Tech themselves bought Rocketo, which does low-temp dehydration, high organic meat, preserving nutrients.
That personalization trend for product managers, that opens up a lot. Think tailored diets for breeds or health conditions, maybe linking up with pet tech firms doing the DNA or activity tracking. And that focus on minimal processing, organic, it really puts the spotlight back on your sourcing, your manufacturing choices. Transparency matters there.
Definitely. And the alternative protein train just keeps rolling. BCG thinks it could be 11% of the global animal product market by 2035.
Wow, that's significant.
It is. We're seeing money flow into insect protein like Insect. Others are working on plant, fungi, even lab-grown meat like Meatly. Tugs, doing insect-based dog food, reported strong revenue growth. Now, there might be some hurdles like potential allergies slowing down mass adoption maybe, but the direction is pretty clear.
So product managers, again, you've got homework. Assess these different alternative proteins, feasibility, consumer reaction, and communication is everything. Why is this good? Is it safe? Nutritious?
Yeah, lots of questions to answer.
And insight managers, you need to be tracking how willing people are to actually try these things. What's the perception? How's it evolving?
And finally, packaging. Still critical. Tech mentioned 82% of consumers say they'd pay more for sustainable packaging.
82%, that's a powerful number.
It is. And you see examples like Win Pet Food using paper for their dry mixes. Even Tech is trimming packaging thickness saves money, helps the planet.
So for product managers, sustainable packaging isn't a nice to have anymore, it's becoming essential. Recycled content, recyclability, maybe exploring biodegradable options.
Right.
E-commerce managers, shout about it. If your product has great packaging, make sure it's visible online. And insight managers, track that willingness to pay number. Are people really paying extra? How much? That guides investment.
Okay, let's zoom out again. The big picture market dynamics. That iFeeder report had some really eye-opening figures on the U.S. market.
It really did. The headline number is that huge jump in sales value, up 71% between 2018 and 2024, reaching over $51 billion.
Massive. But here's the kicker. Production volume over that same time. Up less than 0.5%, 0.48%.
Whoa. So value way up, volume almost flat. That tells a story about price increases and maybe premiumization, right?
Exactly. And digging deeper, dry and wet food production actually went down slightly.
Yeah.
But treats, dog and cat treats, saw significant increases in production volume.
Interesting.
And value growth was strongest in cat treats and wet dog food.
Okay. So for product managers and brand managers, the treat category looks like a real growth engine. Room for innovation, premium options there.
Seems like it.
And the dip in traditional formats? Maybe time to rethink those lines. New formulas, better packaging, something to reignite interest.
And speaking of costs, the iFeeder report showed ingredient costs shot up 91% from 2018 to 2024.
91%. Well, volume only went up 7%.
Right. So massive inflation there, plus that shift towards pricier ingredients we talked about. Marine ingredients were a standout volume, up 95%, but value up a whopping 262% between 2019 and 2024.
Marine, okay. Like fish oils, meals?
Presumably. Meat and poultry purchases were also up significantly in value, about 34%.
So those rising ingredient costs are a huge headache for product managers. You've got to be looking at cost-effective alternatives that don't compromise quality. That marine ingredient surge, though, suggests consumers see real health value there, maybe an area for differentiation if you can source it.
Could be.
And for e-commerce and brand managers, you might have to talk about price increases. Need to do it carefully, emphasize the value, maybe highlight those premium ingredients like marine sources to justify it.
One last really interesting bit from iFeeder. Upcycled ingredients.
Yeah, hearing more about that.
In 2024, they made up 44% of ingredient volume. That's huge.
Yeah.
Representing $3.4 billion in value. Apparently, they tend to be cheaper and are used more in cat food than dog food.
44% by volume. Okay, that's not niche anymore. That presents a real opportunity for product managers, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, helps fight those rising costs, potentially, and it taps into the sustainability angle if you communicate it right, especially if quality and acceptance are there.
Makes sense.
And the cat food angle is interesting. Maybe cat owners are more open to it currently. Definitely something for insight managers to track. How do consumers feel about upcycled? Would they buy it?
Lots to track.
Definitely. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground, from retail shifts to ingredients. If you had to boil it down, what are the absolute key strategic imperatives for brands looking ahead?
Okay, imperative one, I'd say. Focus on holistic customer engagement. Go beyond just the product. Chewy's vet clinics are a prime example. Integrating services builds loyalty, brings in new people.
Right. So for brand and e-commerce managers, that means exploring value adds, better loyalty programs, personalized interactions, maybe partnerships, maybe building services in-house, enrich that whole experience.
Imperative two, really understand the nuances of consumer views on sustainability. It's not one size fits all. People care, generally, but why they care and what they'll pay for differs a lot.
Which means product and brand managers need tailored strategies. Clear messaging for the right audience, address cost worries, and maybe that stealth sustainability idea for the price-focused folks. Make sustainable choices that also make business sense, even if you don't shout about the green part.
And the third imperative, embrace innovation strategically. Personalization, alternative proteins, sustainable packaging. The VC money shows these aren't just fads. There are real opportunities there.
Absolutely. So product managers, innovation teams, you need to be actively exploring these. R&D, acquisitions, partnerships, whatever fits. But prioritize the innovations that solve real consumer needs and match where the market's heading.
And that wraps up our deep dive into Beyond the Bowl, health, innovation, and ingredients that win for this edition of the Pet Food Insider.
We really hope this analysis gives you some valuable direction as you navigate the exciting but definitely complex pet food landscape in 2025.
Keep a close eye on those evolving consumer behaviors. Think about the potential of integrated services and really consider how innovation can transform your brand's future.
Thanks so much for joining us. Stay informed, stay ahead, and we'll catch you on the next Pet Food Insider.